can get on one time without any tech issues, because it's always something, guys. Which is why I named the last live that. I have lip gloss on my arm. Okay, so today I thought that we would, of course, do readings, but I really want to encourage you to ask me questions. I want to be, sorry, I have a cough drop in my mouth. I want to be a source of information for you guys and a way to help you stay on your spiritual path, explore your spiritual path if you have no idea what your spiritual path is. If you know, you're just starting to get into this stuff. I mean, it's like a lot of people are waking up right now. A lot of people have been waking up, and there's a big gap between the people who've been awake for a while and maybe are throwing around all of these buzzwords and things that you're like, I have no idea what that means. So I want to help you with that. I had a spiritual center for years, and so I do relatively know what I'm talking about. Like, I'm not, it's not super random, but I do. So you do have to be a subscriber in order to ask questions. I appreciate the subscribes. I appreciate the shares. I am trying to help the channel grow and maybe do more lives, you know, if we get enough people. So this is Palo Santo, and you've probably heard of sage, but you can use Palo Santo to also cleanse things, like cleanse my deck. It kind of has more of a cabin woodsy smell. So if you don't like the smell of sage, it's a good one. It's hard to like cleanse a whole house with it because it doesn't burn for too long, but you can do it. You can do it. So we're just going to cleanse this deck so that we can be at a state of neutrality, so that your guides can come through and ask anything or tell me anything that you need to know as a collective. This one's actually burning a while. And then I also have some tarot. So my oracle deck I designed myself, and it's a reading you can't get anywhere else. And then I have these tarot decks that I like to sometimes consult. I actually have like way more decks, but sometimes it's fun to pull additional decks and get some clarity on things. So just cleansing these, making sure that there's no previous energy in them. So I want to start by talking about, might as well just kind of take you through process, you know? And again, you can ask anything in the chat. Say hello in the chat if you're there. I know we have a lot of returning peeps that come back to get their weekly advice, and I love that. So I like to start my readings, my lessons, my guidance sessions one-on-one that I have with people with breathing. People don't understand how important breath is, and it can absolutely be a game changer in your life. A game changer for your nervous system, for if you have anxiety, which like everybody does now, and if you ever get like overwhelmed, it's a very good one. And breathing is like so easy, right? And it's not anything complicated. You can do it as simple as breathing in for 4, holding for 4, letting out for 4, and staying with no breath, so holding at the bottom for 4. So we're just gonna do like 3 of those. If you wanna join me, we're gonna breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3. If you joined me in that breath work, let me know if you feel any difference. One thing that I really love about breath work is you have immediate results. Meditation, you may not have some giant, hi Natalia, good to see you, sweetie. Meditation is amazing, okay? But you may not have like immediate results where you can be like, oh my gosh, I meditated and now I see what everyone's talking about. It takes a while to really get a meditation routine down. Breath work, anybody can do. Anybody at any point, anywhere, jump into breath work. It's so simple and we carry it around with us. And I just don't think that we honor how important our nervous system is, how important breath is to feeding every single cell in our body. So I didn't intend for that to be the message today, but sometimes I just come on and maybe somebody needs to hear that. Breath is just important. Please prioritize it. So I wanted to start the chat today with, again, like spiritual questions. Of course, if no one has any, I can do readings or collective readings, and maybe in between we could talk about things. Sound good? I do have my regular, my Natalia. Hi, my lovely. I already cleansed the deck. I don't know if you were on then. Oh my gosh. So side tangent. So I was cleaning my table, my dining room table last night after dinner, and it's wood. And obviously I have cleaned it a lot. Like 2 boys, my youngest has drawn on it, you know. So like it's taken some beatings, you know. So I'm like swiping like this with a disinfectant wipe, and a huge giant splinter, I mean it was like a sphere, like a spear, like came out and jabbed me in the finger, and it hurts really bad. And yesterday I was like convinced that there was a splinter in there. So I was like digging around with a needle. I know, it's gross. And then I bandaged it up for the night, and then I woke up and it was like swollen. And I was like, do I need to go to the doctor? I avoid the doctor at all cost. I can't see a splinter in it if I put a light on it, but it does still hurt, although I soaked it in water and Epsom salt and the pain is less bad. So maybe that's a good sign that that there's not a splinter in there, right? And maybe it just hurts from how far it like jabbed me. So be careful out there, guys. Anyways, usually like it's an important finger in my shuffling process is why. Okay. Oh, and you may have noticed that we have a little bit of a different setup today. I thought it would be nice to have a table. You know, usually you can't really see the cards. So I have to kind of shuffle weird because my finger. Sorry. It's okay. Everything is as it should be, right? It's like my little wounded finger. I mean, maybe I could like, I don't think so. And these cards are like huge. So these are the ones that I designed myself. Kind of. Okay. So please don't judge me on my, on my shuffling. Well, kinda. I don't know, Jesse. I looked at it with a flashlight and like pressed on it, and I was convinced there was, I mean, I can't see anything, but now it's just like, because I was insane and I took a needle and just, you know, pushed around. So I don't know. I'm gonna soak it again later. It's so crazy, like how something so small, you know, like I had my second child naturally, like natural birth. He was 10 pounds, and you know, with breath and things like that. And it was a beautiful experience. But my finger hurt so freaking bad. It just like really bothers me. It kept me up half the night. You got a splinter too? That's weird because I haven't had a splinter in years, I swear. Like, what if it is some type of like spiritual attack or something? That's weird. So then, was yours wood or was it flower thorn related? Ooh, or from your trowel. Let me know. All right, so like I said, we're going to start with Natalia. If you're just joining, we are going to sprinkle in questions. If you want to ask me anything spiritual related, you can even ask me stuff about life. And if I don't know, I don't know. But maybe somebody in the community will know, so you never know. So like if something pops into your head, you might be being told to mention it. So get interactive. You do not have to ask questions of the deck. If you want to, and maybe you're newer and you don't know exactly what to ask, then you can always say a general reading or general guidance from my guides, from my angels, things like that. I know, Natalia, you're first, babe. Have you been doing all the stuff I said last time, though? Mine was wood, too. That's weird. Jesse. We're like attacked by wood splinters. Okay, very weird. Okay, Natalia. Okay, we're gonna have to put some clarification on the third one, but I basically, because we're coming off a crazy full moon, like have you noticed it is hugely full? Like it looked like it was completely full for about 4 days, I feel like. So the energy is quite potent. So I wanted to check in with your guides, Natalia, to see how you are and maybe like what you're experiencing right now. I like to see how you are when I enter the reading. So I'm, even though like you can see this now that we moved to a table, I'm going to still do the reading like towards me. So just so you know. Okay. So right now it's showing that your heart chakra is blocked. So I feel like your guides are letting me know that there is a lot of judgment that you're having towards yourself. You're being very hard on yourself and very little self-love, self-care. Okay, so they're wanting you to really embrace a more goddess energy. So I pulled a clarifier off of that, like for what the message is, and it's the High Priestess. So the High Priestess, she has her shiz together. She's been through it. She feels confident in where she's moving towards. She also is very abundant and she has amazing intuition. So your guides are pointing to the fact that your intuition is tied to your heart. And a lot of people don't realize how important certain chakras are to their own intuitive abilities. You feel things very intensely. And that's why when you have friendships, when you have relationships, you're all in. You feel very strongly for others. And once they're in, you know? So breakups with friendships, breakups romantically, these things affect you deeply. And like, even if you initiate it, you still have to kind of go through a grieving process because your heart carries stuff so heavily and fully. So honor that. It's not a bad thing. So I see you typed in the chat that you have anxiety. I think what's happening is you're trying to fight all of your feelings. So if you're naturally a person who's going to always tune into others' energies, who's going to feel things intensely, and you're like, stop feeling so intensely, and you're trying to like shut it down, your body isn't going to know what to do with that energy. So it's jumping around inside of you and it's becoming anxiety. It's trying to get out. When we started the show, breath work, one way to get that anxiety out. Another way would be to really visualize your heart chakra, visualize the feelings. You can visualize the color green and maybe it glows and you can picture it like pushing out things it doesn't need, or even out loud. If you acknowledge things, this helps our central nervous system. So if you say, you know, thank you body, thank you heart, I love how intensely I feel, I am safe, I release these feelings. The moon cycles are phenomenal to do that around, you know? And we have so many things going on astrologically that you can utilize those to better internalize these strong feelings that you're dealing with. We don't want them to become anxiety. You have to acknowledge them. Another way, journaling. Journaling gets the feelings out on paper. Okay? And maybe you don't want to have stuff left over, like an actual journal that someone could read. So rip it up and light it on fire, you know, safely, whatever, to write it all down and release it and say, you know, I release anything that is still stuck to me. It's shocking how much of other people's energy sticks to us. And I'm also a person who feels things very intensely. I mean, most, you know, spiritual people do, but I too, I manifest from my heart. I'm intuitive from my heart. So I feel things, I guess it just impacts me more. And so I know exactly what you're talking about with anxiety. So I try to acknowledge the feelings within myself and tell myself it's also okay. It's okay to sometimes have these 3D emotions, meaning it's okay to feel and be a human. It's okay to be upset because of something someone said. It's okay that you broke up with someone and you, for whatever reason, you're upset. Like, you don't have to judge every little thing that you think and feel. Okay? You're saying, yes, true, Tiffany, resonates. The woman sent me message, the one you told me to avoid her. Okay. So, that there's some people who we are going to have a harder time with their penetrating energy. So I think that this is all lessons that are trying to come out for you, Natalia, about trusting your intuition with who people are. I feel so much doubt coming through that your guides are showing me. Moving forward, your guides want you to start fresh. So there's this huge push for, this is originality being green. So when this comes up in career, for example, it would imply to me that you're starting a new career, not getting promoted where you have an idea of what you're doing. This is like completely switching where you've never done something before. It's brand new. Or like sometimes it'll come out in marriage, like right after someone gets divorced and they've been with people right out of high school, so they've never been alone. So this is coming out from your advice from your guides. So I feel like there's some chapters closing in your life that you need to breathe and release. And your guides want you to embrace the new chapter. Embrace a new start. Let's see. So definitely you are. So this is so funny. I have 2 different decks for our tarot. We got 7 of Swords and 9 of Swords. So 9 of Swords is kind of a card of loss. So I feel like, and it was reversed. So your guides want you to basically accept the loss. Accept that certain things are over. This one's really showing in this particular deck, 7 of Swords, this gentleman is starting a trek, and swords are action. So he's like moving forward, a new chapter. So we need to let go of loss and not be obsessed with, yes, no, 7 of Swords was upright. Yeah. Yeah. So release stuff. We got to release it. Okay. Coming towards you is interesting because we got water. So I feel like things are in flux for you right now, meaning your guides are trying to end certain things and get you on some new chapters, but there's things you're resisting. So I think they don't know the outcome yet, but there are certain things coming towards you that we can kind of look at. More swords. So coming towards you is you're going to have a sense of what you're supposed to do. Right now, you're feeling like you're not sure and like this push of trying to do action, but we got the 4 of Swords. So 4 of Swords, this person's just chilling, but they still have that sword underneath them in case they need it. So it's this sense of peace, but being prepared. So what's coming towards you is more of a balanced perspective on what your next step is. But you do need to release the stuff that's left you or hurt you in order to embrace that new chapter. Okay? I hope that helps. All right, peeps. And Jesse, did you want a reading? I didn't see. Let me know if you do. In the meantime, you know, I do want to, like I said, we're going to be, this is my Q&A and also readings. So nobody's queuing, so I'm just going to A. So since I was talking a lot to the person for the past reading, Natalia, about release, we have to think of everything in our lives as energy. And our bodies store things. It stores trauma. It stores experiences. And we access that energy when we need it. Or if it's useless within our body, it's going to be an anxious energy because it wants to get out. It wants you to release these things you're holding on to. So different ways to do that, which we do have, like I said, these, this full moon that we're coming off of. It was on Monday, and there's still so much strong energy with it. New moons, you can kind of think of that's a great spot to like embrace a new goal, sort of like, you know, New Year's or something, you know, but it's like a fresh start if you want. So, you know, maybe you journal the things you want for the next month or your goals, the things you're trying to draw towards yourself. And remember, if you do that, you always want to write it as if it's already happened. So, you know, if you are really hoping for a promotion at work, and it's in, it's in flux and you don't know who's going to get it, and you want to journal about it on a new moon and use that powerful energy, do some like affirmations and write, I am so excited that I got this new position. Like it already happened, Is Natalia your trickster card? No, because like the trickster card, it's hard because it's an oracle deck, so it has a different meaning depending on what other cards are surrounding it. And even just so in the context of this reading, this was telling you to leave stuff behind and move forward. So I suppose it could apply to someone trying to trick you in your life if you need to leave them behind. But you need to identify what is giving you the anxiety. You've got to identify it and release it. Yeah, but I'm not going to like go through my whole deck for that right now, just because we have people on here, but maybe it'll come up in another reading, or you can go back because all of the videos are saved. So, but yeah, so if you do those affirmations, do it as if it's already happened, I can't believe you could say, I can't believe they picked me, or whatever, as long as it's like you're picturing that it's already happened. You're picturing that moment being told, and picturing yourself in that new position, feeling it, mind, body, soul, especially as you're writing. Okay. So full moon is going to be that time for release. So maybe you don't know what you're supposed to release. That's okay. Journaling can kind of get to the bottom of it a lot of times. You could even write at the top, what am I supposed to release? And then just kind of do a few breaths so that you're in a tranquil state and just start writing, So this would allow you, it's kind of like trying to take your mind out of the equation. Like when you get in these free flow writing states, I always tell everyone, don't expect to go into some trance state. I mean, certain people have that ability, but don't expect that. It's more trying to put your consciousness a little bit in the background and allowing your subconscious to flow through, because we do know the answers. We are connected to our highest self. We are connected to our guides. They're constantly talking to us. And it's crazy because they're right there. And so often we're asking for the answers when we need to acknowledge them and ask them, So it doesn't seem like, Jessie, like you wanted a reading. So I wanted to do a collective reading anyways, because this week is so substantial. Again, just the energy. And it's very normal if you're feeling drained. It's also normal, though, if you're feeling very manic. The moon affects people so differently. And of course, it also would depend on your natal chart and the positioning of your planets. So, those sort of things. Oh, this finger hurts. Okay, so we're going to do a collective reading. Let's do this for the first half of February. Anybody who finds this, I'm going to do a collective message for career and a collective message for love and relationships. So trust that you found this at the right time and this message is for you, or maybe part of the message is for you. Always trust your intuition. Take what you feel resonates and that you need to hear, and leave the rest. Okay. Wow. Wow. Okay. So, collective for career. We have spiritual wellness and magic. Both of these cards, very spiritual. Within your work, there's a call for you to analyze the things that light you up and the things that drain you. Right now, things in the world are a bit, we'll just say, unpredictable. You are being told to not allow that to affect you and instead focus on your spiritual well-being. You don't have to be like super spiritual. I'm not saying you have to like meditate at work, but I am saying when we're in that spiritual zone, it's because we're listening to our souls. We're listening to the things that light us up. And that is what is important for you to kind of follow your magic. There's been like such an awakening, you know, over the past few years. And I really have felt that this next part of the awakening is like discovering who you are and discovering your gifts. So go inward. Ask yourself, when I come home from work, am I like drained? When I come home from work, am I lit up? You may be drained, but maybe there's times throughout the day that you do light up, you know, when you work with this person, when you get to do projects by yourself. Think about all of those things, okay? Write them down. And that can kind of help you to change direction as needed. I do think there's going to be a lot of change within career this year. But that's just kind of like your beginning stages and advice for the first half of February. Also collective in our love space. Wow. So we have Goddess Lakshmi, the goddess of abundance. So her showing up in the love space is beautiful because we always think of abundance as something material, but we can be abundant in so many ways. And the card off of it was love, partnerships. So I feel like what this is, what my guides are telling me is that a lot of you are reevaluating your relationships for how fulfilling they are. And this coupled with this kind of wanting to follow your soul, wanting to be spiritually well, is trickling out into other areas of your life. You deserve love. Love is out there for you. It's starting with you respecting what you have already. And I feel like that's a huge indicator of going inward and that self-love. Yeah, it's like you are focusing on all of the things you don't have in love instead of focusing on all of the things that you do have. So if you think about your love life, your relationships, and all love, you know, so friendships, your family, and if you put a cup in front of you for every single thing, like, you know, intimacy, listening, feeling heard, connection, you know, similar interests, things like that. You're focusing right now on the ones that are empty instead of the ones that are full. So Spirit is encouraging you to start focusing on the abundance, and instead of everything overflowing in those cups, they're going to start to trickle into the other ones, and we're going to get a more balanced life for you. All right, collective, hope that helps. All right, Jessie, I got an offer on a part-time shadow teacher role and salary, but with full-time work hour, the role isn't something I want or face. I was so anxious about this. And then you got the splinter. So you want to know if the splinter was related to the role? Is that what you're asking? Okay, so why don't we, and this was like within the past week, this position you were offered, or is this still the same one that you last time said was like unpaid, right? Or something? I don't know. Can't keep track of everyone. Sometimes the readings overlap. I know you can do better. You deserve better, like you said. Oh yeah, your own business. I'm still working on. Absolutely. You know, first off, even before I pull a card, I feel like your guides right now are saying, why aren't you listening to your intuition? I feel like intuitively you know that you shouldn't take this job. Your mind is trying to talk you into taking it. When you immediately think of yourself doing this, how does it feel? Does it make you feel excited and lit up inside, or does it feel sort of like settling? That's what I'm hearing, like settling. It's almost like it's like this taking what you can get instead of drawing in what you deserve, if that makes sense. And that's just your guides. Right away. This is stuck. Yeah, my finger hurts. Okay. A lot of blockages. So I can tell like you are very in flux. You are analyzing everything. For this job that you were offered, it's looking like, so we have like our death card and it's reversed. So a part of you is not releasing either where you thought you'd be right now or the loss of kind of the last dream. So that energy, and I just feel like it's interesting because I kind of have been pulled to talk in this session about release. So it's like you're holding on to a past work, and I don't feel experience like dream. It's like your bubble was popped, and it's not helping you to see other choices clearly because it's like popping up as a lens that's not allowing you to fully trust your own intuition. This is interesting. Let me shuffle these. I'm gonna get a little bit more clarity on these two. I mean, your crown chakra is blocked, so that's what this is showing. So crown chakra being blocked, obviously crown chakra has like so much intuition, your downloads. So you're not listening to your intuition, but we already kind of established that. So that's just like doubling down on that fact. Source, what do you mean? Stand down, patience. What are you doing? So the reason I had to ask for clarification for this is because it's my, like, you know, stand down patients, maybe waiting for the next sign or waiting for another job and stuff. But it was in reverse. So asking spirit what that means, we got the Magician card in reverse. So it's like you're really being encouraged to make a jump and push forward. I feel like that came out last time too, that you're supposed to be doing something that fulfills you, that you feel lit up. It's like you're supposed to follow that. You're supposed to follow what lights you up. There's it's like instead you're following what your brain is telling you to do, and what's going to happen is you're going to get too burnt out to pursue the dream. Jesse, yes, I am still holding on to my dreams. I really wanted to be a psychologist in a hospital. Okay. Well, I'm hearing that's what you want, but instead you need to be that. Meaning, energy-wise, instead of telling the universe that in the future, hopefully that's what's going to happen, you need to tell the universe that that is your dream. We don't always know what dream is best for us, but at night when you go to bed, picture what it would be like if you woke up and you had that dream job. Picture getting up in, you know, the house or apartment that job affords you. Picture, you know, getting in the car, going to work. Picture how you look, how you feel. That, because usually in these like things that we dream about having, you know, these are the highest case scenario. The thing is, Source doesn't care what you do for work or doesn't care about money, but reads energy. So if you're outlining in your mind the energy that you want to embody in your next step, Source will deliver that to you. And maybe it's going to be in a different form. Maybe you're not going to be a psychologist in a hospital. Maybe it's something else that comes towards you. But you have to start thinking of what this energy is and then trying to embody it. Because right now, your energy is not reflecting what you're telling me you want. Does that make sense? Like I said, like everything was blocked. Maybe like tonight, do like something to allow your body to release. If you have a bathtub, take a bath, put some salt in, and you know, as you get in, be like, I release anything that doesn't help me reach my vision of my highest self. I release anything I don't need. I release anything stuck in me. And picture, I always like to picture like the salt pulling things out of me that I don't need, you know? Visualization is so powerful within our bodies. The mind and body need to talk to each other. So that would be step one. Step two, envisioning what you actually want and maybe assigning some affirmations to them. And step three, fully going towards that, embodying that like it's already happened. Because when we say things like, I'm still holding on to my dreams, I really wanted to be a do you hear like the wording? It's like the way you said that isn't telling the universe that that's what you want right now. I am going to be a psychologist. Think about like what the thing that most excites you about that. You know, I am